up, everyone? I think we should do rounds today, and then I'll take questions from the chat and then try and demonstrate them live against you and Tony.
Good fucking luck.
That's a challenge I'm willing to accept. Tony,
What?
can you suit up?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna find an experiment first.
We're going to do some live demonstrations.
Boom.
I'm all about testing the moves in the real scenario.
I don't see the YouTube chat with this one.
They're in there. Shit, this thing's so tight. Tripod. What's going on over there?
You wanna go for a ride?
Can't see him. He's behind the pole. There we go. He's just getting dragged around. You guys can't even see that. There we go. This is how Tony spends his time.
Okay, it's enough. Shh. Sit. No. No.
Have you ever played around with dead orchards? I haven't. Let me just look up what that is real fast to make sure I know.
Dude, you tapped me with it yesterday. In the gi.
Oh, that?
The double armbar?
That's called the dead orchard? Dude, I've been doing that since like 2006. Dead orchard. Not a fan of the name.
I think it's because Nate Orchard does it.
Yeah, I have played around with the dead orchard. I've pretty much been doing it my entire no-gi career. We're kind of waiting for some questions to compile here. How to pass half guard without them getting butterfly in. Yeah, just the smash half TP pass is usually how you do that one. I think I've shown it in the gi before, just not in no gi. I'm not a big fan of rubber guard. I can show some mantis, but it gets pretty funky in there. Yeah, the Hyperfly rash guards are really good.
It rips, bro.
The ones on their website for sale are really good. How do you feel people use guillotines to pass half guard? I think that's one of the best ways to pass guards in no gi. You definitely want to be grabbing people's heads all the time. What do you think about cross collar grip versus double sleeves in the guard? I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. You just do them both. There's so much like different names for everything. the chat, just like everyone calls everything something different. It's like a different name for every position. Because there's so much branding on YouTube and the different instructionals that they see, and all the branding just changes the name of a technique that's pretty universal. That's why I think everything should just be named by what it is. Like, well, even like De La Riva guard is named after some dude. I guess it's tough. I think it should, yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't laugh at that. Now I can't read it out loud, so no one knows what I was laughing at. All right, guys, how are we doing today? Do you guys want to see? Do you want to see me demonstrate the techniques that you have questions about, or do you want to see me, Miha and Tony, fight to the death while I try and perform moves that you guys tell me to do and demonstrate them live? Let's do a poll. We'll do a. I'm going to give you guys an option. We'll take a vote. We'll run this like a true democracy. Huh? Oh, it is? I'm kind of talking quiet too, but turn it up. Hello? Oh, it is pretty low. Can you hear me now? How's this? Hold on. Kind of. Do you want? Our first option is answer technique questions. Perform techniques live during rolling by request. All right. Here we go. Everyone go vote in this. I'm posting a link. Everyone go vote in that link right now. Yeah, I think most people want the fight to the death. Now the volume's too high. Ian says fight to the death. Go cast your vote, guys. Your vote counts. Here's the link again. Some technique, some death. Okay. Judea says fight to the death. Here, Judea, I'll mod you. Now you can ban people if they write anything that's offensive to me. All right, let's check the. I'm going to vote myself because my vote counts too. Oh, the silent majority says perform tech. Oh no, yeah. Perform techniques live during rolling by request. That was a little. I didn't really structure that sentence well. Yeah, I think we should do some sparring and then like deal with the situations that arise in sparring rather than like take questions, because everyone's going to ask how to defend ankle locks, how do you do the mantis guard. So
We have 3 good questions from Discord that we can answer.
okay, we'll answer the Discord questions, and then I'm going to show you guys how mantis guard works in no-gi. Only use wrist locks. That's going to be tough. Everyone wants to see mantis guard. I can show how mantis guard works during the rounds.
Do you know if mantis guard is the same as K guard?
It's not, I don't think. K guard is like it's the You pull their knee onto your
the grab
chest.
like that?
Yeah. You pull the knee to the chest, and then you throw the leg around, I think, to 50-50. Mantis guard is just when you underhook their leg like a De La Hiva, but you don't have the De La Hiva hook, and you grab like that.
I've seen Lachlan, I think, set up those 50-50 positions from that situation as well. I think.
It's a really good way to just get underneath someone. You can transition into anything with their legs there. It just gets you underneath their legs. We'll see if Tony comes back. I think he's scared today. He pushed really hard yesterday, and then... Oh, I spoke too soon. Dang, dude. You look swagged out right now. Look at this guy. Get a load of this guy. Hey, come out from behind there, dude. Look at this Hyperfly sponsored athlete. He's got the, what are those? He's got the calf high leggings on. Oh, and he's got the hood, the Tony top. Don't be shy, dude. All right. Mihal's getting warm. In focus. Hinger said Mantis had a critical weakness. Well, when Josh can beat me up every round, we will allow him to have an opinion. But currently it's only 1 in 10 rounds. And if he wants to challenge that, he can come to Legion and I'll fight him. Just doing a little chat interaction here. It's important. Just warming you guys up with some chat interaction. You need to give more context, guys, when you phrase your questions. Saying, just like coming in out of nowhere and saying, avoid darts with underhook from half, question mark? That doesn't give me a lot to work with. All right, guys, we're going to get started here. We will be taking the Discord questions first. The Legion members. Did I? Yep, it's working. All right, I got the gi pants on today for extra gripping action from guard. It's an important tool, right? I see you did the same for some pants. Great.
Wait, I do? Oh, okay, cool. I can't hear really well.
Joe has some questions.
What's up, Joe?
Should we bind?
Let me read the question first before we commence. I'd love to hear some strategies for sweeping and controlling from the single leg X. My guard has been suffering since coming back to jiu-jitsu. So maybe we can talk about mindset and strategies without the gi grips in the guard. And also maybe a defense to the Aoki lock at the end of class. I'm telling you, ankle lock defense is the hottest topic on the internet. Importance of flexibility versus mobility. Faraz Zahabi put out a video recently saying he thinks flexibility is way less important than mobility. I mean, is that the correct definition of mobility? Don't you need to be pretty flexible to be able to do gymnastics and etc.
Yeah, that's not a good definition, I think, but I vibe with what he's saying. Mobility is the range of motion that your joints can achieve.
That's
and
flexibility.
Flexibility is that as well, but it's
Mobility
the
has more.
stretchiness of your muscles as well, which is a little bit different. I think mobility is more important than...
It's kind of like inactivity and action, with
Yeah.
functional flexibility rather than just being flexible.
Right.
Chances are if you're mobile that you're flexible as well, but if you're flexible,
You might not be.
not necessarily mobile.
So like natural flexibility versus trained flexibility. Because I don't do any mobility, and I'm mobile as fuck.
In
Well,
some ways.
you went through all your
For
life
jiu-jitsu.
called active
Yeah.
stretching.
I mean, what else am I gonna be? I don't need to be mobile anywhere else.
I mean, like shoulders, for example. How mobile are they? Your hips.
I mean,
are
I don't
super
get tapped with
flexible.
shoulder locks very often,
It's that posture.
right?
That's, yeah.
I mean, what do I need to use my shoulders for other than
Proper
getting?
bench technique.
Like keeping your joints healthy and stuff like that.
They feel good, feeling healthy.
Wait, what was that? Here's
Shoulder-
the perfect,
shoulder-
the perfect shoulder
28
test.
years old, no pain in his joints. Wow, stunning.
I mean, I've been training full time like 15 years now. You would think I'd have some pain if I had lack of mobility.
That's 50.
Yeah,
TRT, baby. Sup,
yeah,
Joe
just
Rogan?
TRT it up
Out.
at 50. I asked about AOK lock defense because you said yesterday you wouldn't defend in the same way as an ankle lock. Yeah, that's true. No, it's not a dumb question at all. I was just making jokes about the ankle lock thing because it is a common thing. The AOK lock is different. It's frustrating with leg locks because it's like it's just such a common thing for people to kind of assume that there's a technique to get out of everything. Like once you're in it, you can just get out of it if you have the right technique. But there's an end point. Like I've reiterated this a few times, but I'll tell you guys again how really all jiu-jitsu is taking like a situation where there's tons of options and then narrowing it down until they only have one option, which is to tap. So like if someone gets you in a full-blown ankle lock with proper positioning and you didn't do the preventative measures to stop it, you only have one option, and that's to tap. So it's like there were options ahead of that period where you had more options other than to tap. And so it's like you kind of have to lay it out ahead of time. And the actual answer to defend ankle locks is a lot more boring than you would think because most of the prevention just happens before the ankle lock even gets set up. It's like you're aware that someone can go for an ankle lock in this position, so you just don't put your foot in the area where it can get ankle locked. It's like the best way to defend a lot of these moves. But we can talk about it a little for sure. But we'll start with single leg X, your initial question. And then Mike Lee wanted to know if there's any other good grips to initiate passing. Right? You have a video talking about your go-to triangle defense in the gi. Is there an analog for no gi for triangle? Yeah. It's a little easier to defend triangles in no gi, I think, for sure. All right, let's begin. We'll cover a few techniques and then we're gonna spar it out. Tony, join us, please. Everyone? Is everyone at their desks ready to bow in? All right, everyone, bow, bus. We all did different bows, that's good. All right, I'm gonna use Tony today for a change of pace. Be gone, Miha. You've been dismissed to Discord operator.
Dude, I feel like you should just talk. What is this? Your no be appropriate. Whoa. Who's this guy?
What's up? You see it right there? Yeah, Echo's picking up his thing.
I was like, I have to be mean. He's like bigger than I am too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Echo Charles stopping by our gym, just the legend of the Jocko podcast. Miha's one of his biggest fans, right?
Jocko's, not
Oh, you know.
Echoes, I'm kind of like whatever.
Okay, you don't feel the same about Echo.
That part out.
I see.
So big guy.
I'm kidding.
All right, so single leg X. And the sun is blinding me whenever I look over there. I can't see the chat because I look back and they've got that like ghost of a light. All right, single leg X, let's talk about it. So single leg X is one of the few positions in no-gi where you actually have a chance at controlling your opponent from guard. I mean, there are a lot of other positions like butterfly, half guard. You know, some of the sit-up guards are effective, but single leg X gives you the most control over your opponent's hips. And I've been trying to get Tony to do single leg X for a while, but he refuses. So here, this is the single leg X. And you can see, because my legs are so long, I have a bad habit of like getting my foot into his hip, but then letting my hips stay really low. Because I can make it work. I can make this work kind of because I'm longer, but this is not how you do it. You never want to let your hips be low. This is why it's primarily better for shorter people than me, because for someone who's a little shorter than me, to get their heel to the hip, they have to lift their hips up. And see the act of lifting the hips up off balances him immediately. So you definitely want to be trying to get your hips almost behind his knee and lifted, so you have to engage your core the whole time. Because look here, no off balance, but the second I lift, off balance. So the goal is to latch yourself to their leg with your hips behind their knee like this. This is the position you want to be in right here. From this position, you can kind of lock it in place by holding your own thigh like this, controlling over your own thigh. And then you're really looking for off balances this way with sweeps by just lifting your hips more, because he can't step his leg out to actually defend the position, right? So what this does is it creates a reaction where he's defending that by going forward. So when he feels this position, they're usually going to reach forward towards your head or something of that nature, which helps you set up the other positions from single leg X. So you always want to be threatening this initial lock on the, or not a lock, the initial sweep and off balance by driving him this way. That's going to cause him to overcompensate that way. And that's where other techniques present themselves. So don't just get into single leg X and get into the idea that you have to sweep. That's not always the case. And you don't have to stay in single leg X either. It's very easy to transition into X guard or any other sort of reverse X, whatever you want to do, and do other attacks. This is why the inside Senkaku is so effective, because of this interaction between the off balance and then them overcompensating this way, right? So that's what we're looking for from single leg X. The raptors are flying over. What are they called? Ospreys, yeah. So entry is actually more difficult. Getting into single leg X can be tricky. If that's your primary goal and that's where you want to get to, going shin to shin can be tough for some people. It doesn't feel like supernatural to go shin to shin. Ow. But how John Danaher teaches it, he likes to go behind both knees and bring both knees through to almost like a butterfly for a second, just to come here, which is a little more simple. I think it's a good way to simplify it for people who are not as experienced with guard. I've just been using shin to shin so long that I think it's just such a valuable tool that it's worth it to take a little extra step and incorporate it into your game, because it's so applicable everywhere. So shin to shin, whenever someone like puts pressure in with a knee like this, if I can create space and put a shin to shin pressure, the second he drives into me, the more he drives in, the more his ankle comes up off the mat. And that just takes away half his base right there. So he's trying to maintain balance with his knee and his hips and things like that. But the more he drives in, the more he loses that. And that's a very valuable thing, because you can extend people away with just that ankle hook. It's almost like taking advantage of another grip using your own ankle. It's surprisingly effective to just lock your ankle against his like this. It's like grabbing his ankle with your hand, but you're just using your own foot. And jiu-jitsu is so dependent on grips and control points like that, that if you're disregarding that because it seems too technical or tricky, that's on you for not developing that skill. So you got to like try it, even if it feels awkward at first, because it is a very valuable thing. Let me see the rest of his question. Yeah, so this is like more of a conceptual question, so I can kind of monologue about this. So as far as the mindset of it and the strategies you're trying to apply from the single leg X, is you need to think about what we're actually trying to control here. Well, we're attaching ourselves to his leg, so we want to probably be attacking his leg as well, because we have so much control over the leg. The direction of off balance is very important too. You got to remember, so people's feet are always going to be in a line. There'll always be a direct line between his feet, no matter what his stance is. So if he has his right foot back or his left foot back, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be a straight line between his feet, right? That straight line is the balance point, basically. He's very strong in the direction of the line. If I push him towards anywhere in the line, he's going to be able to maintain his balance. But if he keeps his feet right there and I push him off that line, he has to take a step to recover. So that's really what we're trying to do with single leg X as well, is pay attention to the line of his feet and off balance him in the direction perpendicular to the line of balance. Does that make sense, everyone? Reply with an us in the chat. Let's get an us in the chat if you understood that. Great. So when we engage in the single leg X, I like to do the shin to shin, because there are situations where if I'm facing a competent grappler like Tony and I try and go for a more simple entry, he might just like, he could flying mount me, he could just sprawl on me, he could side smash. Like he might do any manner of things that don't afford you the opportunity of just like casually going into single leg X. You need to do it with intention and with a position that allows you to recover if it doesn't work out exactly how you wanted it to. And that's what the shin to shin does. Because if I go shin to shin and Tony tries to side smash me with shin to shin control, I have this leg and I can lift it up to help me get into the single leg X. But if I'm sacrificing that control just for the sake of trying to simplify things, and I just go here and he just drops his weight and starts trying to pass, I might not be able to go directly into single leg X. So my main, oh, thanks for the Usis, guys. All right. The main takeaway here is to like use this control from a seated position. Keep your elbow inside your knee, not on the outside, because if your knee is on the inside of your elbow, I can't open my leg properly and my own arm is gonna block my progress. So arm inside the knee, this leg opens up, hooking around the ankle. My right hand is just helping me maintain space and distance so he doesn't grab my head, because I don't want to get my head too close without controlling, because I'm gonna get choked. So I want to keep my head up, shoulders tucked into the ridge, the occipital ridge of my head. That's going to help defend from guillotines and things of that nature, right? So I need to be looking up at him, not looking down. There's nothing for me down here. I need to just think about what's down here. Just visualize it with your brain. Don't actually look, because the second you look down, you're going to be in trouble. So I need to look up at him and have my arm in the way and be ready, so that when I do start to fall back and he starts to put pressure, I can redirect that pressure to get to single leg X here, okay? One thing that I like to do from single leg X, because it's hard for me to lift my hips off the ground for an extended period of time, I kind of play this position almost like an open guard, primarily with the control on this ankle. Let's rotate this way. I really want this ankle control, and I'm not going to be super dependent on this foot here. If I'm on this foot here like this, and all I'm trying to do is just get that foot back, the second he takes it off, my guard is stuck, because he knows I just want that. And if you're only comfortable with that one position, your single leg X is going to get shut down very often. So what I want to do is when he takes my foot off, I want to put it just underneath his thigh, like this. It's actually on the inside of the near thigh. So this gives me control on this side of his leg. My knee controls this side of his leg, and then my arm is controlling around the ankle like this. So here, it really leaves him only one option now, because he can't push my foot off. He has to back step, right? And if he back steps, I can bring my other foot over the top for like calf slice, or land in positions where I can start attacking heel hooks, because he kind of relinquishes his stance and base to deal with that position. So that's how I play it. If you're competent with your core to really keep this tight and really be off balancing someone, you'll be in a good spot, because the off balance is what protects your foot from getting pushed off. But if you're just chilling and not off balancing, he's just going to push the foot off every time. And that's when you're going to get into bad situations. So just be comfortable that if he takes your foot off, you just replace it into another control. And look how my foot was at the thigh. When someone takes my foot off and I replace it, the other foot just goes behind the other thigh, like this. So from this position, if he tries to back step with this leg, I have this hook. And if he tries to do anything with the other leg, like knee cut or do any sort of other pressure, I have this. So I can control his body with just my legs, and he doesn't really have a super obvious solution for how to deal with that, okay? Is my voice too loud, guys, or is it fine? I tend to yell when I'm teaching, just out of instinct. It looks good? Okay, cool. Emma's on the audio. So this is what you're looking for. This little technique between here and here is going to help your single leg X more than just like learning about the actual attacks from single leg X. Being able to actually transition and deal with the common counters to it. So if he pushes my foot off, I'll go here. And then from this position, I can control this ankle as well. And I can just start bringing him back here like this, sweeping, or like I showed earlier, like using your own knee to bend his knee and expose the heel hook here. And that can actually give you the hook back, just using your own leg. Because here he's kind of tied up, and you just squeeze, expose that heel, and then throw over the top and start looking for these mega reaps like this. Get this reap all the way reaped like this. All right? So those are some little tricks you can do. What do you guys think of that? Thoughts about lockdown, reverse De La Riva? Bro, I don't know. I haven't seen that. Basically, if you're learning about techniques and then you go and watch the recent high-level competition in Nogi and you don't see anyone doing it, it's probably not that effective. Like, go watch your favorite grapplers that are fighting at ADCC and Nogi Worlds in the black belt division and look at what techniques they're pulling off. Because if you don't see a lot of people doing it, it's not confirmed, you know? Like, you can still make it work yourself, but I think you should be, okay. Yeah, anyone can use any move, and people can have like their own little spin on things that they like, and that's what they do in training and stuff. But I think just for an overall understanding and like actually getting better at jiu-jitsu, you kind of need to stick to the moves that are functional and working. And there's room for experimentation and improvising there. But if you're going to try and do some sort of like exotic move that you thought looked cool, don't expect to win your rounds with it. Like, don't expect to be good overall. I don't know if that makes sense. But there's a lot of like guess and check going on in people's personal jiu-jitsu journey, and something that I did as well. I tried every move basically that I could find, everything. And what I realized is it's a lot of what you see on the internet is just people making stuff up. And if you're not really, it's doing people I'm not saying that Firas Zahabi is making stuff up, okay? Let me make that very clear. I'm just using this as an example. I haven't seen the move. Maybe it's like really effective and I haven't even seen it. But it's better if you're looking for positions to actually improve, look at the best guys and what they're doing and try and learn those systems and those techniques. If you want to win. If you're just trying to have fun, go on the internet, try all the moves, and that's fun for sure. Mike Lee had a question about how to engage into passing no-gi, which I can answer as well. If someone can link the Firas Zahabi clip, can someone post it in the chat so we can watch it? If you post a YouTube link, I'm pretty sure it will let you. If it doesn't, one of the mods, Ian or Jadea, can you guys find that for me and post it a link? Because I'd like to see it so I can give more of my input on it. But first, we'll go into the passing. So Tony's going to be on his back here. So I always show entering into the pass by pinning one leg. And the reason I do that is it's like a really effective way to just immediately stop his ability to play guard against you. But it's not the only way by any means, and it's just the least risky of all the ways. So I'm trying to let you guys do moves that actually let you win matches, or in training or otherwise. There's a lot of ways to just engage. My personal favorite is a lot trickier to do, but I like it more. I actually like to just engage by putting my hands on his shins here. Because if you think about it, it's serving the same purpose. A good guard engagement should be about not letting him play guard against you effectively. So if I step into his guard, just like this, where I let his legs control me, I have less control, right? He's doing stuff, he can actually attack me and do different moves. But if I engage maybe with something like this, where I compress his legs against each other, he only has one option with his legs, and that's to extend them and clear my hands off of his shins, right? He has to do something like that. So just the fact that my first grip didn't let him play guard against me is really valuable, and that's what makes a good guard entry. So you can do this in a lot of different ways, just with varying options from them. So I like to go here because the second someone starts to extend and fight, you can kind of redirect his legs off, and then that keeps the same tempo of him having to recover and commit to defense rather than commit to offense. Same thing with this. Like, the second I go here, he's immediately on the defense. He has to put his knee shield up, he's got to be pushing, do all that kind of stuff. Engaging with the hands on the shins as well, like this. The second he extends, I'm just redirecting his legs off to one side or the other to immediately just get another defensive reaction where he has to shrimp or do something else. As he does that, you are trying to engage in like a knee cut or a long step or a smash half, whatever you're trying to do. Side smash. Same thing if he grabs my wrist. Someone asked what happens if he grabs my wrist. Nothing. It's like going to be largely ineffective because the same thing is going to happen. I'm going to turn here, and he has to let go of that wrist to defend anyways, or I'm just going to pass immediately, right? I try to grab the guy's wrists first before trying to clear my legs. I mean, you can try. But it's really...
It matters if you're sitting up, right? Turning your back is...
Yeah, you don't really want to go for wrist control if you're laying flat on your back. And this is a situation where they're on their back and you're doing it. If he's trying to sit up like this, I'm not going to be reaching for his legs. In this situation, I want to get inside control of this area with my leg here. It's actually good to give someone a single leg in this position unless he gets shin to shin. If he gets shin to shin, I don't want to keep engaging on this. That's why the shin to shin is so strong, because it's kind of the counter to like stepping inside someone's legs. Because here, if he commits to the single leg, I have the front headlock control because he's not doing much to actually defend his neck here. Even if he keeps his head back and in that good position, I can pretty easily just snap it down into front headlock control. Whereas if he tries to keep a little bit more space or with a shin to shin and I try and do that, I can't actually get to his head as effectively, and as I come down, my leg gets extended and I get off balanced. Can we play this video?
I think this isn't it.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, it's about this.
In yoga?
Oh, that's the mobility thing.
Yeah.
Did anyone post the link?
I don't think they were able to do it in here.
You
What
should
is
charge.
it? What's the move?
It's called Lockdown Reverse De La Riva.
I'll be young Jamie here.
The Reverse De La Riva Lockdown.
There it is.
Let's see.
First one.
This might be good. Skip ahead just to show me the position itself. So is this a round or?
I think it's gonna do it here.
Okay, Reverse De La Riva. Okay, Kiss of the Dragon. Can we skip more? This is just reverse. This is Kiss of the Dragon. Oh, it's with his feet. I see. Oh, this is like the Danaher elevation, basically. I think John uses this position mainly from single leg X. He uses that to off balance. Go to the part where he actually shows it, maybe. I don't know if this is just demonstration.
It's a weird video. Yeah.
Juju Club.
No, I think it's like I don't know what it is.
Okay, so what's happening?
This is it. Like I think him crossing his legs is the long.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this still has the same weaknesses as most other reverse De La Riva, and I'm not a big fan of reverse De La Riva already. Like, it's just not a good position. Reverse De La Riva is not effective against high-level passers. And so there's a disconnect, and maybe my perspective is skewed because of that, because I train with so many high-level guys that I see what really works and what doesn't, and I'm not sure who Firas' training partners are and what level they're at, but I know for a fact that if you go into a high-level room and try and play any sort of reverse De La Riva guard, you're probably going to get smashed. Hoffa Mendes uses a lot of reverse De La Riva. Yeah, that was also, Hoffa hasn't competed in years. And if you're seeing clips of him doing that, it was probably almost like 8 years ago. Maybe his most recent ADCC. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't have a place. I'm just saying it's not as effective as the current meta of no-gi, which is what the DDS guys do. Like, that's just better. What they're doing is just more effective. We found it, Judea, thanks.
What's up, Judea? You big.
Hey, Keenan and Tony, do you guys sell those headgears at your gym?
Soon.
Not yet. We got to follow up with that manufacturer.
Post-quarantine sale.
Yeah. These, it's a really good head guard, ear guard.
All of the above.
Yeah, one of those things. Swim cap, whatever it is. No, you don't really want to be on your back at all. Anytime you're laying flat on your back, no-gi is just like you're screwing yourself over. How the DDS system of guard is more about sit-up guard, and if they're on their back, they're really playing butterfly and half guard. Like a butterfly half, it's all about trying to elevate the person. And this reverse De La Riva position that Firas is doing also does that. And I'm sure he has some great insights on it actually, like how to do these off balances, how to do these things. But I played, like, most of my no-gi career, I played reverse De La Riva guard. Like, I sunk countless hours into playing reverse De La Riva and guards where you play flat on your back. And it worked very well for a very long time. I was successful in a lot of no-gi competitions with it. But techniques change over time, and passing changes. And if you're not training with the very best guys, you don't necessarily see that incremental change over time that can nullify techniques that were once considered optimal even. And things change, and the techniques can be created, and it becomes more of like a widespread understanding of the position. And when everyone starts to adopt the new techniques, it kind of can weaken this position that so much time has been spent into like cultivating.
People are asking questions that are this long. That there's literally a Danaher DVD that's 10 hours long. On. You know,
Yeah.
Can you explain the DDS guard? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I explained it last Nogi Day, but I don't want to like jack their swag too much. But basically what the idea is, it's kind of concept based. It's about the off balances, and it's about getting to the leg entanglements. So last time we talked about how they use like some foot sweep stuff and off balancing and their kazushi of like, you know, John talks a lot about the double kauchi. And guys, I recommend you go pick up his instructional if you want the full breakdown of how it all works. But sitting up, and kind of also the stuff I was mentioning earlier about protecting your neck and making sure they don't get front headlock control. Like, it's about front headlocks, and it's about leg entanglements. And it's also about not being on your back, because if you start falling to your back playing guard, like, you're losing here. This is losing. Like, you can be like, I can not get my guard passed like this all day. I can maintain my open guard from my back for forever. Like, I don't really get tired from there. I can just keep recovering. But can I attack? Not necessarily. And someone who's really good at passing, even if we're at equal skill levels, their skill is exactly equal. The person on top will eventually win, because they have an advantage of gravity, and they're able to put pressure in a way that is more effective. They can use all of their limbs, and I'm reduced to only pushing with my arm, so I don't have the pulling power. So if you just look at the actual advantages from the position, he just has so much more to work with than I do. And all I can really do is push or try and grab an ankle, or maybe like even grabbing a wrist from your back is just not effective. This is just here and like this, from this position, like, you can put this hook here for sure, but this doesn't stop knee cuts. Like, if he can come in and start knee cutting me, I just have to start pushing again to recover. And it all comes down to them breaking the position, and then you having to relinquish your offense to start pushing and recovering. Whereas if I play from one more seated guard, and I say this because if you watch me compete, I fight flat on my back all the time. It's just a habit from the gi, but I understand that it's not as effective. From a seated guard position, if he tries to engage with me in any way, I have my arms to actually block a lot of his passing attempts before that happens. And if he reaches to connect with me, I can get wrist control and start threatening arm drags and off balances and grabbing his head and off balancing people. And you can actually hand fight from your guard. And that's the issue where there's a disconnect from the new no-gi style and jiu-jitsu in the gi or the old no-gi style. The new no-gi guard style is to actually almost treat it like a wrestling position from your butt, is the easiest way to explain it. And if you see how John explains this, and he's the guy who put this kind of idea together and showed its effectiveness with Gordon and them, is just learning how to wrestle from your butt is really what it comes down to. And it's just kind of backsliding to try and, if you see it working, don't backslide and do the stuff that was working 5 to 10 years ago. So just anything where you're laying flat on your back and on your side, you can't really expect to have like a really dynamic guard where you're messing people up in the gym, because it's just not as functional. The float passing and demonstrate those principles, you're gonna have to like hit him up for that. I have my own style of doing it. I don't know how Gordon does it exactly. When I trained with him, it was more about, he was more about putting pressure, I feel, rather than using the float passing. I think that float passing is more of like a style move. Like, when you're that good, you can kind of just do whatever you want to some people. But basically the idea is, it's similar to what Leandro Lo was doing when he first broke onto the scene. And it's that once you do get someone to the back, like this, you can take advantage of their legs being their really only form of offense. And if someone starts trying to put me in any sort of guard or even like the reverse De La Riva guard position, and I put my weight up over his head like this, if he starts to try and do anything, you can use your legs to create shin-to-shin grips on their legs to break down their guard position and get to deeper passes just using your legs. So the float thing really just means taking your hands from off of them and moving them forward in a way that you're over their head like this. And your weight is so high that if he tries to do anything, you're using your feet to manipulate the position. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Like if you're in like a headquarters position here like this, and he doesn't want to turn this way and he starts turning back here, you can kind of go forward and put a shin to shin like this and actually extend that leg to clear it and advance your position. I think Gordon has a whole system from there that you can look into and see how that works as well.
Hey, can you explain all of Jiu-Jitsu forever?
Yeah,
The history of Jiu-Jitsu? Can you explain it?
I can.
How did it evolve?
It's the first YouTube video. I saw a lot of Mantis.
If you're having issues with float passing, it's because you're not as good as Gordon, really. Like it's one of those things that you can't just go do it to someone who's better than you and expect it to work. It's something that is like you can use to kind of style on people if you're better than them. Like if you're better than someone, it's not necessarily the technique that did it, it's just like your vestibular system, understanding the balance and like what their body's doing better than them. And if you're more coordinated than someone, naturally, you can pull off a lot of the float passing type stuff. And that's not to say it doesn't have like applications for sure, but I think the general population of jiu-jitsu and people who are trying to get better tend to fall into this idea that when you learn about a position, you just only do that one. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a float passer, or I do float passing now. But that's not how it works. You have to do all passing all of the time. And when the situation calls for a top position where you're putting your hands forward for better balance, that is when you go into a float passing position. So you can't just fall into one technique rut and think that that's going to serve you, because it won't. You can't just do one thing. You need to use everything all the time. And that's how people do really well, is because they do everything all the time, and when the situation calls for a technique, they know that technique and they apply it. Okay? Can you show how you stopped Gordon from passing you in ADCC in 2017 when Gordon was passing everyone with his float passing? I think he only passed Romulo's guard, and he didn't use float passing to do it. Everyone that he used the float passing to pass, it was one of those things, he was just much better than them, if that happened. And it's like, I didn't do anything in particular to stop it, I just played guard effectively. Like I just followed the fundamentals of guard and put my legs in front. Yeah, Craig he was super on fire that tournament. Did he pass Craig with that? Someone says he passed Craig. He did a hip switch, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, it's like he's not just using float passing, like you have to mix it all up. If you're confident with your base on top, you can do anything. I'm just reading these comments here because everyone's got a lot of info on this, apparently. Like if you watch how I play guard, oh yeah, he did pass Kynan with it too, that was very good. The way he did it on Kynan was really sick, because it wasn't just, if you think about it, I saw that match, and he wasn't just only doing that. He saw a distinct opportunity where he could use the idea of it, where he put the shin to shin from top, posted forward, and then passed with it. I don't know if he passed straight to mount, but it exposed Kynan's back, I think. I don't fully remember. But it's like, it's situational. And you need to be able to recognize the situation that you do it. And I think usually it's from sort of a headquarters position where their leg is in between your legs. And that's when you can throw that shin to shin on. But it's not that's definitely not his like primary passing source. Like you don't go to that first, you know? It's just a way to deal with the situation. Who's the best pound for pound jiu-jitsu player right now? I don't know. He floats, passes tight, and passes loose. Yeah, you have to do everything. There's a time for everything. Like I usually pass a no-gi kind of with a loose passing, with like pushing the legs, and then I throw in knee cuts. But if I see the opportunity, I'll go to over-under, or even just pass by grabbing their head. It's just like the quicker you can switch context in a match and recognize that you need to do something else, that's usually how you get better at jiu-jitsu. It's just like picking the right tool for the job, right? Did we have any more questions in the Discord?
No.
Are you considering make career?
It's funny to
The crystals.
it's funny to do this for so long, and then people like who are new to jiu-jitsu come in, and the same questions get asked over years and years and years, because there's so many new people doing jiu-jitsu, and it's great. But no, I haven't. I used to want to do MMA. I'm not into it anymore. Jiu-jitsu is doing just great for me. I like competing in just jiu-jitsu. I would have to sacrifice 5 years of my life to get really good at striking before I could even consider going into MMA. And I need my brain cells. Someone wants to see your leg lock from Polaris. You want to show it?
Let's do it.
All right, so this leg lock from Polaris was in a match against River Dillon. What happened was he pulled guard standing on me pretty quickly. We can go down. And then what I did was, when he had guard, I was standing up. I pushed down on his chest, sat down, and crossed my legs here. And then I turned to this side because I saw the outside heel hook exposed here, and I went for it. What happened was he rolled over, and I just barely kept my legs closed, and then I switched into the triangle here. Then I pushed this leg up and got this knee over like this, and got a brutal inside heel hook. I think he was actually pretty badly hurt from that. I remember being super stoked about winning, and then immediately just realizing that everyone's super quiet and that this is not the time to be screaming and celebrating. So the most important part is when you have the legs closed, you have to get this leg over the other one and then squeeze as tight as you can, turn him to the side, and this heel hook here is just as powerful as the inside Senkaku heel hook. Since I haven't really hit this too much, a couple of times in sparring, but not in competition, it's a good move to surprise someone with, especially if they don't have a lot of leg lock experience.
I know when I was fighting Gary Tonin a lot back in like 2015 to 2017, he was always going for that on me. Every time I'd pull close guard, even at the Kumite, he was doing that a lot, just always trying to wrap his legs like that.
Can you give me the microphone back?
Someone in the comments said that my opponent said it wasn't tight, that he tapped to a previous injury. I think that's absolute bullshit. From what I heard, he needed morphine to get to the hospital. So it was tight, his knee fucking exploded, it popped really loud. It was not a previous injury, just to set the record straight.
Or if it was a previous injury, it was now a current injury. Yeah, that's a brutal leg lock. And a good way to deal with close guard, too. Some people have difficulty getting out of close guard. That's an awesome option. You can just kind of...
You can't do shit when you're like that.
Yeah, it's really tough. And if you try and follow them up, it like exposes you for the leg locks more. You have to like anticipate it, and then as they do it, like push their legs and try and like get your knees out right away. How do you avoid the legs from slipping? You do a lot of mobility exercises, right? Get strong legs. No, you control it with the figure four that he was doing. You got to squeeze extra tight. Make sure that you're bending his legs.
Sometimes you can do it just by like crossing your legs like this, but if you get a triangle and then you can hide this leg under, that's what keeps his knees pinched like this. That's what you want. You have control over the top of both of his knees here.
A mount escape called kipping.
Oh, you showed me that.
Yeah. That's probably the best mount escape.
That like where you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Jake Shields does that so fast every single time. He's so fucking good at it.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important to be really flexible in what you can do, because there's a lot of good techniques like that where it's not really even worth trying to maintain mount. You should just transition off to knee on belly or circle out to north-south and let them try and deal with it from there. I try and just keep moving for these things. A lot of defense against this stuff is to like just keep moving and transition to new positions and try and just stay one step ahead of someone.
IBJJF legal and illegal saddle honeycomb sit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So like, so actually let me do it from fully on bottom, because this is where it kind of gets tricky. So you're in a position here, maybe like a half butterfly, and you use it to elevate, and you get into the inside Senkaku position here. This right here, if he puts his foot on the mat and starts like standing, like trying to stand up, this can be illegal. So you have to actually get his foot off the mat instantly. You have to have this foot completely off the mat. It's got to stay up, not touching. If it touches the mat and he puts his foot down like this, or a lot of times they turn this way, like turn this way and put their foot down like this, this is illegal as well. So his foot cannot touch the mat. And you can also, even if his foot's off the ground, you can't hold it like this. You can't go an overhook. You can only do an underhook on it. However, that doesn't apply to this leg. If I can control this leg here with the ankle, this foot's gonna be off the ground anyways, and as you can see, I'm turning my body this way to keep his foot off the ground. But if he starts to get his weight up and over and his foot goes flat to the mat, this is illegal now. So this foot can't be on the mat. This is where you get in trouble. So you have to really heavily commit to this side and make sure that you're over here all the way, using your hips to keep his leg off the mat, okay? You gotta control it here. Underhooking, this is actually also illegal. You can't do the leg lace thing. So it's like, it's best to just kind of underhook both of them or just only control the top leg. And in an IBJJF situation, you can't try and go for the heel hook anyway, so you just need to use it to sweep. So moving this way is better, because the closer I can get to his head, the easier it is for me to disengage from the position without giving him guard back. And even if he manages to get like this reverse half, like you're in a pretty good spot to potentially shove the knee here, and if you have good shoulder pressure, you can underhook, step over, and use your feet to actually clear the position. Yeah, it's like, it's a weird rule. But in the gi, it's actually really effective as well, using that as an entry from worm guard or any of those positions.
I think now we can slowly transition into the rolling.
Yeah.
What you said.
Sure. So we'll start rolling, and I'll kind of I'll talk to you guys, and then try and do some of the moves that you ask about in the rolling. Those guys are going to go get ready. Defending toe holds, you really need to spin with it. You got to decide the direction you want to turn, and it's just whichever ways your toe is pointing, you kind of need to relieve pressure this way.
We're here to formally finish.
Oh yeah, we got to finish class. Well, yeah, the technique portion is done. All right, guys, everyone bow it out. Us. I'm still going to be talking about positions and technique, though. They're going to go get ready. We're going to roll. All right, what kind of rolling do you want to see today, guys? Should we train hard but kind of explore positions and show different things you can do, or do you want me to just like handle business and put it on these guys? What was your question, Jake? Oh, look, I'll answer your damn question, as you say. Where are you? Can't see, there's too many questions now. No mercy, technique, handle the business. Go hard. Flow. It's business time. You guys are going crazy. I'm trying to see Jake's question. You gotta ask it again, Jake. What's the brand of Tony's headgear? It's Legion brand. I'd really like to know which positions, guards, systems, subs fit together well for Nogi. There's a lot to that. Kimura trap is really good. Front headlock system. Leg entanglement stuff. When it's extra slippery, what is your go-to sweep? Single legs and double legs. And submission, rear naked choke, front headlock stuff. Jake, what is your best pass for someone doing knee shield and stiff arm in your shoulder? That pass is really annoying to pass. That guard is really annoying for me to pass personally. You got to get better guard passing, dude. That's like the basic position. That's just like the position that everyone goes to when you are about to pass their guard. So you got to learn how to get around those things with proper knee cuts and side switching. And if you entered an MMA bout right now, what would be your strategy? I would pull spider guard with my hands inside their gloves, fingers in the back of their gloves, so I have an effective spider guard grip, and then I would up kick them from spider guard. That's my plan.
We're doing this tomorrow, actually, again.
Street
Did you
fight?
Tell them that?
We should call it street fight. The street fight stream. Street jitsu doesn't really roll.
That's gonna attract all those people.
Yeah, that's good
All
though.
the Krav Maga people.
It's really the funniest thing about the street fight day and the people who come in is like, just because we're not doing jujitsu anymore, it's like now, oh, trust me, I know about street fights. And it's like all of your jujitsu is just no longer functional in a street fight situation. There's a lot of people like, I think I could, I know you're good at jujitsu, but this is a street fight.
You don't know my attitude, bro.
This is a street fight now, so things are different. In jiu-jitsu, yeah, I know your jiu-jitsu is good, but when things come down to it, street fighting is different. Like I can promise you that every single high-level grappler will wipe the floor with anyone in a street fight that isn't like a highly trained MMA fighter. Like it goes highly trained MMA fighters, then it goes highly trained jiu-jitsu fighters, then it goes wrestlers, then it goes boxers, and then it goes everyone else in the world. And so everyone on YouTube is fit into that everyone else in the world category. So trust me, they're much better trained than you.
I'll bite you.
They'll bite you too. That's the thing. It's like the biting goes both ways, but they'll just bite you from a better position. Like if you want to get eye gouged, if you want to eye gouge a highly trained athlete, they're just going to rip both your eyes out. Like you're just asking to die. Like you're just foregoing any chance of surviving the street fight against this person. That's what I'm telling you. Like you might injure them, yes, but you will die. Like that's what it comes down to. They will choke you to death and you will die.
Can you show the best position to bite?
Probably the back. You
Just like
you
the neck.
Go for the neck. Yeah.
Like you don't need to bite because it's not going to kill. Like if someone bites you, it's not going to kill you.
Well.
I mean, like
Not
maybe
with that attitude.
Kicking.
Dude, I have this discussion with Emma all the time. Kicking the groin. I'm like, you in a self-defense
Yeah,
situation,
try.
you can kick me as hard as you can. I'll still kill you.
Yeah, like I will get kicked in the balls and kill you still. Like I've been kneed in the balls really hard, and it's like, it's pain. But if you're in a life or death scenario, it's not going to incapacitate you.
It just makes it.
It just will hurt, and you will fight really hard and kill the other person with some sort of effective jiu-jitsu choke, and then you'll deal with the pain. And I think people who haven't actually been in like scenarios where they actually have to fight super hard, and that sensation, like jiu-jitsu sensation, the street fight sensation, that like urgency and that like fear, you get that in a training room with someone who's really high level. Like it's almost like simulating that same feeling every day, or in competition, you're simulating that feeling. And someone who doesn't do that all the time is going to be so unfamiliar with the feeling of adrenaline and the feeling of fighting hard and pushing your body to the extreme Like just the fact that they train so much more than you, it makes them so much more prepared for a street fight scenario. It's hard to like, I don't know why it's hard for people to grasp that.
I think what they're referring to is the concrete on the street, possibility of multiple attackers,
Right.
weapons, like you doing your thing and someone comes from behind, hits you with a shovel or something.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I mean,
that
if,
kind of stuff.
but it's like nothing is going to protect you against that. So it's like you have to think about things that are in your control. Like what scenario are we actually talking about in a street fight?
I got
Let- the-
someone who'd be-
if you're in a situation where someone is escalating it and he's there with his buddies, do not fight them.
Yeah.
Like leave the situation. If you have to fight for your life, that's a different story. If someone is attacking you to like beat you up and they're going to attack you, then you fight as hard as you can.
I think like walking away from a fight is one of the hardest things you can do. It's harder than beating someone's ass. Like if you have someone that's like being provocative, they're trying to attack you, and you just do the bigger thing, you walk away. That's harder than actually kicking their ass.
Especially if you train a lot and you're like, I trained for this, and then you feel like a bitch afterwards. If that's but the goal is to stay out of those situations because you might accidentally kill someone. You could. It's not a good situation. Adults don't get in fights in a street. It's really like an assault situation. If you're being assaulted, that's different than a street fight. Like I feel like this, like we're talking about it from a different perspective for some people on the internet maybe. But when I think of street fight, I think it's like one dude, he's got a problem with you on the sidewalk, and he kind of like makes a move.
Okay, I get
You know, like if we're talking about in a bar, it's like no, I'm not gonna grapple some dude if like he's trying to kill me with a bottle. You know, like if he tries to hit me with a bottle, I'm probably going to try and disengage and then hit him with a chair or something, you know? And the fact that I am like in better shape and have cardio, like I could probably win these altercations even if it doesn't directly involve jiu-jitsu. The Bas Rutten bar tactics is a good video. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah,
Where he's in the
that's
bar.
so good.
That's a great example. And then Bas Rutten is actually the master of explaining this stuff because there's one thing where he talks about how he like has a girl in a rear naked choke or something, or he's like demonstrating. Did you hear this story? You should gotta watch this video if you guys can find it. Bas Rutten is like demonstrating a rear naked choke in some self-defense scenario, and some girl is like, "Well, I would just bite you," and he's like, "Oh yeah, you'd bite me? Okay, like come on, like come here, come demonstrate." And she like comes into it. He takes her back and he goes to put on the rear naked choke, and he says, "Okay," and she's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try and bite you." And he's like, "All right, if you bite me, I'm gonna fucking kill you, or I'm gonna break your jaw." He says, "If you bite me, I'm gonna break your jaw." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, if you bite me, I'm gonna break your jaw." And so she's like, "Wait, what?" And it's true. If the second someone opens your mouth to bite you from that scenario, like your jaw is broken.
Yeah. Emma, come bite me.
I wouldn't bite you when I was in.
Like it's an entirely different thing. And it's like how like when we're training in here for the street fight videos, it's like we're thinking about like what you could do. Like if you are in like a crazy spastic situation where someone's throwing punches at you, you could grab their material and judo throw them or do something. If you like trip over something and you're on your back, you could potentially grab the material and use it to like scramble out or sweep or something. But because of the ignorance of the internet of actual grappling and martial arts, it's so difficult for people to understand the difference. All right, let's have you guys go first again. Or should I go first? I want to try and find shorts, actually, so you guys should go first.
These are my push-ups. Emma. Pectorals.
Oh, yeah, the guy who spit on Matt Serra in the restaurant? Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started on street fights. I'll be right back.
Okay.
tried to find some copyright-free music, and I was not. You guys want the copyright-free music or the classical? And time. Take a break, guys.
Dude, you're almost choking. You're like a rear naked choke under the arm.
You know where I saw that? The Kumite.
The kumite? Oh, your arms are long enough to do that?
No, I just did this.
Oh.
Dude,
Instrumental. I
what
think.
is this? Those pockets?
Yeah, that's all I got.
To take those up.
I couldn't find any shorts. I think you took the shorts that you were gonna loan me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Want to switch off and on like
The shorts? No,
B3 college school?
it's all good.
No?
500 people watching right now. If all 500 came to Legion, could Tony, Miha, and Keenan stop all of them? One at a time?
We'll distract him with Zeus.
I think 500 people is too many. I think maximum is like the most people I've ever rolled with consecutively is probably like 45 or 50 people. But it was first a point or submission. If it's just a submission only, one at a time, you probably only make it through 30 people before. It's more about
Here's
it's
the thing though, and here's the truth. If I don't know you, I can roll so much harder with you.
really.
I don't care about you.
You should roll hard against
I
us.
try.
Push harder, bro.
I push pace,
You need
but
to.
just hard.
You need to
know
push
why.
harder, bro.
You guys touched my heart already.
Except the first round.
Huh?
Except the first round.
No.
Cardio.
First round, you got to push hard too. That's the only way to ensure that people warm up properly. It's like because the fear of the first round push.
Yeah, like no, I'm speaking for us right now because
Yeah.
we didn't warm up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight to heel hooks. Like, shit.
All right. Who wants to go first? I think we should we'll take breaks in between. That we won't just go like.
You feeling a little corona-y?
No, I feel fine, but I feel like we just roll so much when we don't take rests. Guys, can we not do the rolling thing? Just crack out the John Cena videos. How many untrained 5-year-olds can you take? That would be really easy.
What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure I could fight at least five 5-year-olds at the same time.
The average age of a 25-year-old competitor. So, I mean,
What?
you know, if you add 5 times 5.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank Tony. Some meta jokes. Oh, dang, we got a lot of people in here. Is everything still working?
If we take like a good song and we change the tone or speed,
Yeah.
it's just so weird to only roll to
Go,
your guys' breath.
go on there and put no copyright sounds and just keep switching.
Just stand there.
I can change it from my phone too, so we can just skip it.
Is that like a playlist?
Yeah, just search no copyright sounds and just pick a playlist, and it's usually like EDM stuff. Better than nothing, I guess, or classical. I think even classical we got flagged though.
Yeah.
Like people own classical. Someone owns that.
Someone explained that it's like
It's like
That's my
if
piano.
an orchestra plays it, like they have
Oh yeah.
copyrights.
Oh,
But
no?
you can't know which
yeah,
one.
put some music on, just not classical, some no copyright shit.
Yeah, we'll just deal with it. I'm fine with it.
Put human music on from Rick and Morty.
Human music.
Snake jazz.
Yeah.
Snake jazz.
The snake jazz. That was such a crazy episode.
Oh, that one in particular. All of them were
I,
crazy.
that one was especially like
Yeah.
abstract though. How he changed the entire course of the snake civilization to go. Can you please start rolling? We'll be here all day. There's no rush.
You come here and roll.
You,
Fucker.
no, I think it's fine. Watch us still get flagged. Like, YouTube doesn't care. They're just like, music, demonetized, banned. I keep hearing people say audio library on YouTube. Oh, maybe they have their own thing. That makes sense.
Weasel, that is Diesel. Intersport Asia. Somebody block that guy. How dare you say that? You're right, Yusuf. I'm still a white belt at heart. Ask away, Jake. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about a year, so I weigh like 188 right now, probably 190. It's Corona weight. I did train at Octos for a little bit. Shout out Carbolito, he's the man. Andre did. I go to every gym wearing a blue belt because I'm a blue belt. I do not have a wrestling background. Oh, sorry. I do not have a wrestling background. You get all cool and shit, start answering questions, and then you have to go roll. What just happened? No, Keenan does not do crazy warm-ups. He does functional sweep for sweep, pass for pass, more just related warm-ups. I will start by trying to initiate some sort of takedown, like always. Hell no, we're not winning shit. I don't know if easier is the right word. I don't think so. Yeah, he has. Both these guys have many levels. I don't think I see all of them. So is there supposed to be a timer? A timer? Nice. We don't have any problem with cross training whatsoever. I can't speak for anybody else. I'm not really experienced enough to know the dynamics of it either. Were you supposed to start the timer? Oh. Me? Or you? Because you guys have been rolling for a minute, so. Yeah. 2 more minutes? Or a minute? What do you want? Alright. God, I didn't raise this shit.
Is this timer going? I'll set it. It's intense music.
Yo guys, Mika here. There's a minute and 15 left in this. As you can see, Tony's in a bad situation. I'm not coughing, I'm just clearing my throat. Jake, when is anyone competing next? Explain that to me and then I'll answer your question. Oh, my rolls with Tony are very serious. Except like maybe the first one of the day when we roll up a little bit less, but that is not a chill roll. Time! I don't have the Scramble Standard Issue version 3 yet, so I can't say, but the previous two versions were really good. Even if I weren't sponsored by them, I would probably buy that gi as my budget option, let's say.
You're supposed to fart when you cough. Whoa. Hey, somebody block that Zach up. Hold on.
Which
Good
one?
shit, guy. No, black belt from dancing, bro.
It's the model from yesterday is the Wave Volume 2 by Scramble as well. Honestly, I only wear Scramble gis. I think their nicest one is, I would say, the Wave probably, because the design is just so nice. There was also a black one a little while ago. I don't remember the name, but it also had the internal rash guard lining. It was amazing.
That's where you hurt your knee too, like opening like that.
So would I like kind of invert a little bit if I could?
Yeah. Your arm, you have to like let go and go to the armpits and push.
I was trying, but as soon as I did that, you were going for like the
My turn?
What's up? What's up? I started training. Well, just turned 29, so at the age of 28. Scramble eggs. I'm 6 foot on a tall day. Yeah, these guys are tall. Do I like apples? Yeah, I do. I made my own headgear pretty much, Billy. I love rolling, bub. Not trying to get my ears fucked, so. My favorite food, damn. I'm not falling for any of these questions. Blue belt at Legion that gives me trouble. Man, what happens in the training room stays in the training room. Emma beats my ass. Well, honestly, any position Miha or Keenan put you in is frustrating, so I think the plus side for me is I get to have a whole new level of what uncomfortable is, so. Shoot, I don't care if people know if I train or not. I do this for myself. This is fun. How much do I squat? I don't really do PRs. My rep range goes as low as like 6 to 8 reps, and I use like I don't know, like 335, 345. Chris, I agree. I'm trying to learn the intricacies of deep half. I kind of found myself in there naturally. I'm just trying to work on every aspect of guard, honestly. I was at Altos for a little bit before here. Only place I ever trained was Altos in here. I train pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. I like both Nogi and Gi. They're totally different. Nogi is scrambly. You can use like more speed and strength and just be aggressive. And Gi, it's a lot more like chess. Time. Time. Yeah. Yeah. I thought you guys both looked. Plus, you guys started the round late, so I didn't know if you guys wanted more time. I think I just pissed them off. My deepest apologies.
I think it's our turn.
I like having long hair.
or longer hair. Yeah, we got to mount a TV on the wall. That'll be our timer when we get to it. What is a mounted crucifix? So many questions. No, it doesn't frustrate me. It's training. It's good to have people pass your guard in training. That's why I don't get my guard passed in competition. By understanding what's happening in training and figuring out all of the options. It's only Nixon. The gi weight 450 is talking about the grams per like square foot or something probably, or total. I'm not really sure. But usually a lighter gi is better for people beginning because it's a little less encumbering. It looks like I don't think we're gonna be showing any more technique. We're just rolling now. We've already been going for 2 hours. Tony's really good no-gi. Once he gets a little more submission awareness. My knee is good. What have you been doing in your downtime? Well, we've been streaming, and then when I'm at home, I'm kind of unsure what to do. My life was so occupied by the gym and everything to set up here. But now it's like everything's slowed down so much. I've just been like bored playing video games. I can't give Tony a purple belt because he only just got his blue belt like 3 months ago. He's got to wait another year. I think Philippe versus Gordon, and it'd be about the same probably. I mean, not the same. I meant like they'd be more equal now. I don't think Philippe would submit him again. Didn't he submit him twice? I think Gordon probably closed the gap, and it's just like more equal. Oh, Mihal's getting him all these leg locks. First of all, we don't deal with homophobic slurs here, so this guy's got to go. I can't tell which one. How do I ban this guy? You. Yeah, we have drop-ins when we're open. Yeah, we thought about training with shoes for Street Fight Day, but we just don't have good shoes for it. No. I think Gordon already beat Shanji. Who's your hardest roll of all time? Probably Lucas Barbosa. Yeah, Hoffer was tougher. I like wrestling and judo equally. I didn't get to roll with Lachlan when he visited, but I trained with him a few months ago. That was back when Gordon's wrestling wasn't as good, and Dylan actually is like a high school wrestler. Time, guys. You need an isolation buddy to train at home. You gotta invite one of your friends over to isolate at your house permanently. Call it a day?
Can go another one if you want.
Go one more? Yeah, I've used Mantis Guard at some of my Nogi Worlds matches. I'm surprised it's got such viral power. Everyone's asking about Mantis Guard. I only made one video about it.
Just feel like
It's like he knows you.
Hey, man, póngale un comment on Buffalo Power Washing.
I think after the virus calms down, people will come back to training.
We get it.
Oh, my body feels so stiff from not lifting.
Video games.
Yeah.
RuneScape.
I just can't find my mouse guard.
Man, our Legion logo looks so good though.
Dude, sick. At first I was like kind of skeptical it doesn't match Silver White, but it stands out.
That one matches better.
I think it's exactly the same. You gotta start the 10 second. Oh.
I kind of like this song. All right, we'll do the last round here.
Put your hands in, senseis. Just you guys. Get his ass.
What are you doing?
Give him
Like a team
power up. Come on, dude. Ian. Corona. Damn. Kill him, vibe. I got it. I'm always left alone, guys. It's dungeon by myself, just me and my thoughts and my two pups. Nothing's obligatory here. I don't use mouth guard, I should though. Dang, carne asada all the way. Because this is American Jiu-Jitsu, not Hawaiian Jiu-Jitsu. I do speak Spanish, and I agree, at least a year. My favorite book, shit. I think the last one I read is because Mihai gave it to me as homework, Extreme Ownership. Not much of a reader unless it's purpose. Who the frick is Cat Rabbit Media? Man, I'm here like 7 days a week, but before this I was in healthcare for like 7 years. I was an area manager for a home health and hospice company. What are the chances? It's a chance. Yeah, it's Jocko. No big deal. I don't really play video games. Grew up in a rural part of Argentina. I just played sports all my life, so I never really had time for games, I guess. Or the attention span. What does gut check mean? Good point, 1010. Trying to find more productive ways, but yeah, I guess I could play some video games. Oh, I guess no, I've never really been gut checked. I think if that were to happen, I would kind of probably push him away as hard as I could. Chance, that sounds weird. Oh, he's getting it. Make that heel yours, mija. How about that? Oh man, there's so many tough rolls at Altos. I don't even know. I wasn't at that level to experience that kind of rolling when I was there. I was just a white belt. If I was balding, I would totally get like topical finasteride. I've done research, don't worry. And then, or whatchamacallit? Fuck. Hair transplant. No shame in my game. His heel hooks at me 100%, so I do get to defend it a little bit. I love rolling with Sunshine. He's the man. Sinful, I feel like you could probably come up with a more clever Corona joke, but that'll do. Oh shit. I'm getting away with my fast metabolism right now. If I'm meal prepped, I'd probably lose a lot of weight. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. That's it. Eat. 8 seconds. Yeah, love White Belt Albert. Good stuff, dudes. One more? Sure. Need a second bang.
Yo guys, I've caught my breath. I'm back. Let's look at what's going on here. Kimura trap situation. As you can see, Keenan's trying to extract his right leg. He wants to go to a north-south position, but ooh, that was pretty sick. From Kimura to inside Senkaku. Looks like he's gonna lose it. Really good job by Tony. But look, he's pulling his right leg through. He was doing it to set up guard, but he got an easy sweep. Now look at Keenan's leg position. It's completely safe from getting dragged into a leg lock. And he's got a leg drag position. He's trying to get his right knee to the floor. And this is where the trouble starts for Tony. He has one underhook. He's probably gonna look for the other one on the other side. Nice job by Tony getting his right knee back in to try and regard, because otherwise he would just get past. And now he did indeed get past. Yeah, standing Kimura works for sure, just depending on whom. I have like Kimura, a lot of people standing up, either from like a Kimura trap to single leg defense or from them starting up. Is there any other blue belts at Legion that can challenge Tony? Honestly, I don't know, because even though I'm here all day, I don't really pay that much attention to the roles. I train when I can, but I don't really look at what other people are doing if they're not super well known. But I doubt it. Probably if someone's like super big. Chance, is that being sarcastic or like for real? Because I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, if you're referencing the one I showed on the stream yesterday, which you can check out on the Legion San Diego YouTube channel. So the clips from the streams, they go to Legion's YouTube channel. You should all go subscribe to that right away. They're also often in better quality. So if you're referring to that one, yeah, it is. It looks like a footlock. The nuances between it and the normal straight footlock are super tiny. And yeah, it's legal. Alright, let's go back to the rolling. We're back in another Kimura situation. This one's looking dangerous because Tony doesn't have his arms clasped together. A really good defense to the Kimura is being really strong, like having really strong arms, chest and shoulders, which is serving Tony well right now. But you see he's gonna get his arm separated and probably extended into a straight situation. Keenan used it to get better control. You can see we have a mounted crucifix situation going now. This is a nightmare position, especially for MMA. Thanks, Sinful. Appreciate it. No, don't worry, like Cat Rabbit Media aka Chance can insult whatever he wants because I do all the insulting back when we roll. It's only insulting for him. We got 20 seconds left in this round. I don't really like rolling with big guys, I guess, if that's the question. I don't like rolling with them, but I love going up against them in the absolute. It's very fun. The round is gonna end here. Tony has his diesel squeezle. It's very tough, but Keenan kind of invented that, and the round's over. Should you go from closed guard Kimura to omoplata? Man, if you can Kimura anyone from closed guard, I'm impressed. That in high level competition is like almost unheard of. Gut checked. Yeah, I've been gut checked many times. And I've done many gut checks myself, if that's what they're called. I thought that was just being an asshole in your role. Oh, you're a white belt. Well, in that case, they paired together pretty well, so you should be good. I'm gonna give the mic back to Kino now, guys.
All right, guys, that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow. Take it easy out there. See you guys tomorrow at noon. Tell your friends. Peace.